Hi everyone.
Hi everybody.
In today's video we are going to be doing a manicure with IBX treatment.
Yes.
And I will explain what the IBX treatment is as I'm working with it. First we're going to remove the polish, and I'm choosing to remove it with pure acetone, and the reason why I'm doing that is because we don't want to be introducing any water to the nails before the IBX treatment. So, because a lot of the nail polish removers have a little bit of water, which can prevent from the IBX treatment soaking into the nail. So the treatment is it's not a hardening treatment, it's repairing treatment, or what else, how would I explain? Yeah, repairing treatment for damaged nails with surface damage. So again, it's not a hardener. What it does, it kind of soaks into the first layers of the nail, and we kind of melt it almost into that first layers of the nail plate. And then, wow,
what was that about?
a lot of what do we call it?
Growth?
No, dirt, but we call it something else.
Oh.
Whatever, it'll come to me. Anyway, so what was I saying? This is going to be a very good video.
Oh,
So the IBX, yes, so the IBX treatment, it doesn't harden nails. It soaks into the nail. We melt it, kind of, as you can kind of imagine, like you're melting butter onto a toast. So we're warming up the product so it kind of melts into the nail. And then
butter on toast.
Yeah,
that's actually a good good reference. Now I want buttered toast.
And then we are going to be curing that product into the nail. So we actually did IBX treatment last time on these nails, and we're gonna kind of pretend we don't see the lifestyle residue underneath the nails, because we
lifestyle residue. That's what it is.
Because we can't wash these nails now. I mean, quick wash is fine with the nail polish. Yeah, with the nail polish still on the nails, but yeah, like completely.
Holy mother!
I know. Yeah, we're very ashamed of this. This is not going on YouTube.
I am not ashamed of anything.
Hardworking hands. Anyway, so what was I saying? And then we cure the product into the nail. Sorry, not onto the nail, but into the nail. So we actually did the IBX treatment, a very quick one, last week. And you know what? The nails actually do look better.
Let me see.
Than they did last week.
They do, actually.
Yeah, they do. They do.
Yeah.
So that's good. And we just did like and I'll explain as I'm working what exactly I did. I did like a one layer of the treatment.
Except the ends of my nails or fingers look really weird because they're all dried out. You can see like
just
the
white,
definitive
right?
line.
Yeah. Okay, so the first, let me switch my glasses. So the system comes with two components. Sadly, the bottles, I don't know, I'm really careful, but they kind of leak. So it comes, the system comes with two components. One is the IBX repair, and then this is IBX, now it's called strengthen. So when the nails are really damaged, or if you're using the treatment underneath a gel polish, you can use the IBX repair with each treatment. If the nails are just a little damaged and there is, not a lot of damage, you can just use this strengthen treatment. But we're going to show you how to do the full treatment as a first treatment, and then so that way you can see how it really works.
Yes.
I'm getting really confused here with the explanations. Okay, so we're gonna use this. So you wanna shake the products properly before, and you are going to wipe the excess off, because this is very liquidy and you don't need a lot of product. I would suggest wearing gloves.
Now, just before we begin, would you normally do a manicure
Very good
prior
question.
to doing this?
Normally, actually, it is suggested to use the treatment first.
Interesting.
And the reason why is because, unless you're doing a dry manicure, then you can do the treatment after. But anytime you introduce water, so like the cuticle softeners or anything like that,
right,
then you have to use water to wash it off, and then the treatment doesn't work as well. So the way the IBX kind of works is when it soaks in, it soaks into the little channels, the little pockets of the nail that are damaged. So we don't want water in those areas. We want those areas dry, so only IBX will soak into those layers and not the water. So the water would repel the treatment. So this one is like a very, very thin consistency. It doesn't have to, like, you want to keep it away from the skin. You want to wear gloves with this because this is like a gel-like product, although it looks like nothing on the nail. But it does have, I think, like acrylates and things like that, so you want to be careful with skin exposure. So yeah, you want to keep it away from the skin. And now what we're going to do is we're going to use a heat source, and the hands go underneath the heat. And you can use almost like anything that produces a very, very gentle heat. You can also use a blow dryer, but now they don't recommend using blow dryers because it kind of blows the product and it might be getting too hot. So you want to use like a dryer, or you can also use like a heat lamp as well for this. So now we're gonna warm this up for 1 minute, and I'm going to time it. That was warm, right? Did you feel warm? Okay.
Yep.
All right, so now imagine the butter melted into our toast. So we don't want the product now on the nail. We want the product in the nail because we don't want anything on top to be chipping or anything. So what you can do, you can just dab the excess off, and very, very lightly, because you don't want to remove too much product. So you want to dab off whatever didn't soak in. And you know, the interesting thing is that when you are doing nails of someone who has really damaged surface, you will see that the product will soak in and there was almost nothing left on the nail. And actually these nails are, you can see that they're kind of absorbing the product as well. So you want to remove the excess. And now people that have naturally very bendy nails, but they're healthy nails, I find that the product doesn't soak in at all, almost beads, and it doesn't even get absorbed, right? So you know that you're not going to really have, you know, amazing results. So now we're going to cure this one in a lamp, LED. For a full cure. And for this system, you can actually use generic. Check with the manufacturer, but they recommend a few different lamps, but it's a pretty generic lamp. So you want to use the setting that goes with a regular gel curing setting. So normally when the gels cure 30 seconds, it would be 30 seconds. The CND lamp would be 1 minute. Okay, it goes into this one. Normally, IBX or the famous names recommend this first coat to go into the areas of the nail that are like the most delaminated, so peeling, like it's supposed to go in onto the areas that are very damaged. So you don't necessarily have to put it on top of the full nail, but you know what? It's not gonna harm it, and I like doing it on top of the full nail. Now we are going to take plain alcohol, 99% or 90, whatever you're using, and you want to remove this kind of a sticky layer. All right, so now let's pretend that this is your initial treatment. So what we're going to do is grab this strengthening coat, dab off the excess because you don't want it to drip into the, you know, sidewalls or anything. You want to keep it away from the skin because this kind of will a little bit melt a little bit more than the other one. And now we do 2 coats of, or 2 rounds of this product. The first round will be heated for 4 minutes, and the second round is going to be heated for 2 minutes. So you really want to make sure that the product goes into all the crevices of the nails. So, you know, overall, I'm going to be honest with you. I like the product, but I don't think it's kind of the miracle that we kind of were hoping for. What I really see is that when you do 1 or 2 treatments, it really makes a difference, especially when people have damaged nails after, you know, acrylics or gel polish or something like that. And when you're continuing the treatment, it doesn't make a huge difference. And I find also, very sadly, so now this goes in for 4 minutes, sadly does not make a big difference with the generally kind of healthy nails that are peeling a lot. Like, I've done it multiple treatments on clients that their nails were peeling, and I don't really see a big difference. So like the surface damage, the white spots, the uneven surface, that really helps for that, but not with the peeling nails. Okay, so we're gonna now heat it up for 4 minutes. Okay. All right, so now again, we're going to wipe off whatever didn't soak in. And they say to dab it, kind of, right? So don't like scrub it off completely. Like pat it, I guess. I don't know. The excess off. And full cure. Okay, so now again, wipe with the alcohol. And now we're going to be doing the third and the final coat of the second ingredient. And this time we're going to heat it for 2 minutes. So it's kind of easy to remember. So it's the first coat is 1 minute, the second coat is 4 minutes, and then 2 minutes.
That's a lot of minutes.
I know. And then, you know, when people come back for second treatment, then you can do, if you're still using the first one, which is the repair, it's still going to be 1 minute, and this is going to be 2 minutes, so then it's much shorter. And you know what, I've done it where people's nails are kind of not really damaged and they just book a regular manicure, and sometimes just adding a coat of this one for 2-3 minutes even helps, actually, if you don't have the extra time, because this takes like a good 15 minutes to add onto the manicure. So sometimes, you know, if you don't have that time, even this helps. So whatever time you have, it's still better than nothing. As we can see, actually, the nails were better after this treatment. And we did, how long did we do? I think we did it for like 3 minutes, no?
Something along those lines.
Okay, so now 2 minutes. Okay, so again, we're going to wipe or dab the excess off, pat it. You want to make sure that you don't rub it into the skin, because this should stay off the skin. I'll grab a new one. And now we're going to cure it
Again.
again for the last time. Full cure. And again, we're gonna wipe with alcohol. Whenever I'm wiping gels off, I actually like doing it twice. And what I used to do is I used to spray the nails after wiping. Just want to make sure that the skin is not affected with the gel. So one more clean pad. Make sure there's no gel whatsoever left, no residue. And you know what, the nails do look way, way better. So, you know, how long, people ask how long this lasts. Well, it kind of becomes like an integral part of the nail, so it just grows out with it. But I find after a while, it almost like washes off or something. Like eventually, you know, especially if you put polish on and you remove that polish, they're kind of back to square one almost. But you know,
some of it sticks
judging
around.
It sticks around, yeah. Judging by this example, like we removed the polish and the nails were better than they were last week. So, you know, obviously it does work. So now we're gonna be doing a regular manicure. So let's see how they look. They look really good, except for the, you know, the lifestyle residue. All right, so now we're gonna do a manicure. So this took us like 25 minutes for the initial IBX. So, you know, if you're not doing a lot of talking, also if you have 2 lamps, it goes a little bit faster because you can then cure the product at the same time. Yeah. So a lot of times I get comments, people saying that you should not be filing back and forth, and that's actually not the case.
That is incorrect.
That is incorrect. It doesn't really matter. What matters is the grit of the file. So the coarser it is, the more damaging to the nails is. If you have a pretty fine grit, you're not going to make any difference. Just like when you're, let's say, even
Sanding wood.
right? Exactly. You don't have to go one side. You can go, you know, both sides, but as long as you're not using something that's very harsh, right? Oh, and mister, you forgot your glasses again. So we can't do any Q&A.
Oh. Done. Actually, that's not entirely true.
Oh, you have
I have my
glasses,
sunglasses.
which are prescription.
Yes,
Are you
exactly.
gonna see? Well, maybe in the next video then we'll do it. No, we won't do it. Never mind.
Wow. Alrighty.
Guys, we're gonna do Q&A. No, we actually won't.
Just kidding.
Okay, no, in like a proper next Watch Me Work video we will, promise. So make lots of comments on this video, please, with questions, and we'll answer them, promise, in the next video. Right? Promise?
I don't promise anything.
Oh,
But, yes.
you'll try.
I will put in a valiant effort.
Okay.
How does that sound? Alright.
Sounds like a promise to me.
That sounds like the good old college try.
Okay, so what else can we talk about when it comes to manicures? Yeah, a lot of times I get comments about how horrible people's cuticles are. And you know, there is so much out there showing people cutting the skin around the nails.
Yeah, please don't do that.
Yeah, you know, it's okay. So what people confuse is they confuse the living skin with the dead skin, and they're cutting the living skin. So I'm going to do this now because I don't want to forget, as we're on the topic. So when you, this here, what I'm pushing now, you see, I'm kind of rolling it up almost, right? So I'm kind of separating. This is not a cuticle. This is living skin, and it's a proximal. It's called proximal nail folds, living skin. Cuticle is this white film here underneath. So there's two pieces of skin. One is live skin, and this is just the edge of that live skin, and dead skin, which is underneath. So that dead skin, where does it come from? Believe it or not, it comes from the proximal nail fold, this living skin, because this living skin folds underneath. And as this part of skin sheds cells, but we don't see it because we wash our hands and everything just kind of falls off, that underneath part of this skin also sheds cells. And those cells are the cuticle. They kind of get impacted in between the skin and between the proximal nail fold and the nail plate, and they form a cuticle. So when people have like really bad skin around the nails, that's not a cuticle, that's a skin. So when that area is dry and torn, filing it more is not going to make it better. So let's say if you have very dry lips and the lips are peeling and they're cracking, whatever, filing, taking sandpaper to your lips is not going to help, right? Like it might initially make it look better because the skin is going to look more like shiny and smooth. But can you imagine the next day it's going to feel even worse? And that's what happens with the skin around the nails.
I don't know if I've ever heard someone reference to taking sandpaper to their lips.
Well, because really that's what people are doing, right? Like they're filing this skin that's actually has been damaged through overwashing or through various reasons, and they're damaging it even further. So when someone has it, so there is a big difference between dry skin and a calloused skin. So calluses, like on the feet, are caused by pressure and friction, not dryness, right? So sometimes people can have little calloused areas here, and I find that removing just the excess, not filing the dryness away, but just removing excess of that calloused skin for some people, that is okay, but I'm not filing this area with the machine.
Well, those calluses are there for a reason. That's your body's natural response to...
Yeah, on the feet, yes. So what we want to do, and it's the same thing here, because, you know, we're kind of pressing onto those areas, and you can, you know, build a little bit of callus. And what happens is, like even here, you see this area. So what happens, yes, this is a dry skin, a little bit of calloused skin. We can safely remove this. We can snip it, but when you actually use the fine bit, it actually exfoliates it a little bit more gentle. But we have to remember what we're trying to achieve. So removing a bit of a calloused area is one thing, but we're not fixing the dryness by filing it off. So people need to remember that if the skin is dry, the clients need to take care of their hands by by various ways. Basically, they need to make sure that they're not overusing, you know, harsh cleansers like, you know, even the alcohol and things like that.
Dish soap.
Dish soap, yeah, because that just strips everything. And that they're using proper creams. And usually that would be, I recommend creams that contain a little bit of urea. So now what I'm doing is just removing that callus area a little bit.
So the point that I was trying to make just a couple of moments ago was you don't want to remove a callus completely.
Exactly, yeah.
You know, it's
You
there
want it to
for
reduce,
a reason,
yeah,
right? But
wanna
I mean, if you
reduce
want to
it.
reduce a little bit, okay, I can understand. But
So it's cosmetically pleasing, but yeah, removing calluses,
you want some there. Like
Yeah.
they're
exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, now this is gently I'm removing, and I actually did a comparison. So, you know, some people say, well, you end up with these little callus areas because you're filing them. And what I did on a few of my clients is like I used one of their hands to, and I just did the wet manicure without doing anything to the sidewalls and without doing this step for weeks and weeks. Like we did it over, I don't know, a couple, 3 months or something. And then the other hand was done with the electric file. And you know what? There was no difference. So they had more sometimes little hangnails on the side that I didn't do the electric file. So I found that using it very, very gently, this is on a very, very low speed, it doesn't cause more damage to the skin. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a cuticle remover. And now I'm putting this on a nail plate. I'm not really putting it on the skin because this breaks down the skin. So we don't want to irritate the skin too much. And now so if there's dryness, the client has to address that. They have to use oil, they have to, you know, use the creams properly. Which, do you? No.
Me?
No.
How
often?
Yeah, actually, I moisturize every day.
Oh, once a day? Wow. And how many times do you wash your hands?
Lots.
Yeah. So it's almost like, can you imagine how our face would look if you know, washed your hands with dish soap 10 times, sorry, your face 10 times a day, but put cream once? Or hair. Like if you washed your hair multiple times and one time you use conditioner, it's not going to make a big difference, right? So sadly, I mean, it's good, especially at night, because then at least it sits there, but making sure that you're doing it more often. I usually suggest using even a very light cream. I like the CeraVe one, and using it after every time you wash your hands. Just tiny amount makes a big difference. And at night, I like the Eucerin. They have, it's called Complete Care. I should put it in the description box below, the link to it. It's a little bit more sticky because it has urea, so it's not usually okay for the day, I find. But at night, it makes a big difference because urea, so there's still a little bit of skin, and what people will do, they will pick on it. So actually I'm going on the reverse now, but you know what, I'm gonna actually clip it because this one is really resistant. All right, and now the cuticle remover. Almost empty. I just refilled this bottle. I just really like the nozzle on this one. Okay. Now you want to make sure that you don't leave this on the surface of the skin for too long. They say usually like a minute or two. And you want to neutralize it with water because these products usually are very, very alkaline. So they're actually irritating to the skin. Make sure that you remove it. You can actually ask the client to go and wash their hands. If you're doing your own nails, you can do that as well. And now I'm going to push back the skin, not the cuticle. I actually usually like separate the skin from the cuticle And you don't want to be shoving it. Like, this is a very sensitive area of the nails, so you don't want to be pushing it too much. And if you have a lot of overgrowth, because what happens is if you've been cutting or filing the skin for too long, what happens is the skin obviously is trying to protect itself, and it's going to create callus. So once you stop cutting it, it takes a little bit of time for the skin to kind of grow more normally. So now I pushed back the skin, and now I'm removing the cuticle. And if you do this on a regular basis, and I do recommend doing this once a week, there is barely anything to do. Also, what sometimes happens is if you have a lot of what you think is cuticle, what happens is sometimes if you don't push it back on a regular basis, and the skin, which is the proximal nail fold, is stuck to the nail plate because it's dry, it kind of, as the nail plate is growing, this skin is going to grow and stretch with it. So what you want to do is at the beginning, if there is a lot of that skin, you just push it gently. Like, it's not going to be perfect at the very beginning, but just kind of push it back gently, clean up as much as you can, and use your creams, use your oils, so that skin is nice and flexible and elastic and healthy. And then it's going to kind of eventually spring back. Like, it actually eventually it doesn't overgrow because it's not stuck to the nail. It almost recedes a little bit. Okay, on the other hand, push back the skin, the proximal nail fold. And you know what? Proximal nail fold is not a fancy name for a cuticle, again, because there's two different skins. Proximal nail fold is the living skin, is one thing. Cuticle is the dead skin, it's another thing. At the end, I'm going to clean underneath the nails a little bit, very gently as well. We did that already. Okay, so what we can do is very, very lightly, trying not to like dig too much, because you can hurt that area. Yeah, if you push too hard underneath, you can cause like separation, which is called onycholysis. Alright. Smells good. So this took us 45 minutes, guys. So yeah, you know what? When it comes to IBX and a manicure and polish, I book full hour, the initial one. For the IBX and manicure, I book usually half an hour. It usually takes me about 25 minutes. And if it's just the addition to manicure, ongoing manicures, then it's usually 15 minutes long, takes extra 15 minutes. Okay. You can also do is you can take this and just clean off the little pieces of nail that are stuck underneath. Yeah, so the nails are really, really good. Much better. We definitely see an improvement. So this is it for this video. I hope you lasted this long, and I hope you find it interesting. Let us know if you've heard about the IBX treatment. It's done, well, usually it's done at the salon, so it's not, I don't think it's a consumer product. For consumers, I don't think there was anything similar to this. Because you are working with a gel-like product, so you have to be careful that you don't cause yourself overexposure to the products. They're not the safest. I mean, generally for a professional, this is a very safe product. But if you don't know how to work with this, it could be, you know, allergy causing. So that's why these products are not meant for general public. So yes, this is it for now, and we will see you hopefully in the next video. And like and subscribe, because that really makes a big difference, and it helps us a lot. And yeah, let us know what you think about this treatment. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.
Ciao.
Okay, you know what? We're not finished.
Huh?
We're not finished.
What do you mean?
So what I'm going to do is just show you guys very, very fine buffer block. Sometimes if you, okay, so if you're not polishing these nails, then at this point you're fine. But sometimes if you're polishing and there is still little bits of the cuticle kind of like stuck on a nail plate, the polish is not going to go on very evenly. So what I suggest is just grabbing a very, very light, very, very gentle buffer block and just going over that area with the buffer block. You see there's like white little pieces? This is just the skin, the cuticle. And you don't want to be buffing the whole surface over and over again, because if you're doing those manicures once a week, you are going over the same area of the nail multiple times, which is not good at all. You're going to overfile the nail, you're going to thin it out, and you know, not good at all. Because you really cannot repair the nail. Like you can kind of fix it a little bit, but you really, it's not 100% repair. So you don't want to overfile it for sure. So yeah, just gently buff this area. As soon as what you can do is just go top to bottom like this. Very, very fine buffer. Nothing that really shines up the nail, but nothing that really scratches it too much. You can just, you have to feel for it. I think these ones are like 280. No, they're 320, sorry, grit. And again, it depends how much pressure I'm putting on and how many times I'm going over it. So I'm not going like this over multiple times over the whole nail. Just yeah, remember that. Okay, and this time, for real,
now
we're done.
Now we're done?
Yes, I'm gonna just clean
You
this.
continue to work on my nails. We're done.
Yes,
We're
we're
gonna
done.
keep working.
You know what? And yes, normally we're going to do another video, but normally I would apply oil on these nails.
Normally, yes.
Normally, yes. So you would use oil and the hand cream, but we're gonna do another video, so we're not gonna do that because the oil will make it difficult to polish properly. Yeah, I always do oil after. Alrighty, this is it. I promise. Bye bye.
Bye bye.